You know how days go when you know it's going to be a good day or a bad day? When Darrel has no dumb shit in his water, you know it's going to be a good day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for all of E3.
So this is the first.
For all of E3, it looked like piss.
Well, what is going on here? Why are you drinking
Does it
water?
have
I forgot. I forgot it.
Wow, you alright?
Yeah, I'm sad. I'm actually like.
Anyway, we're going to be talking about episode 12 of Kyurangers, which is titled
Ultimate All-Stars.
Ultimate All-Stars. This is going to be quite the epic episode because we get to see all Kyurangers fighting together. Now Daniel is filling in for Kelly Bohart, who is out today. She is taking a well-deserved rest after E3.
E3 was ridiculous.
It was rough. I mean, it wasn't rough. It was a lot of fun.
It was fun, but it was ridiculous.
It was a lot of fun. But we are going to be talking some Kyuranger. We're going to be talking about E3 just a little bit, and we're going to be talking about what we want to happen next. So, with that being said, Darrel, how you liking the season so far?
I love Kyuranger, and
What do you think about the set?
I'm not a fan of it. I'm really not. It looks like a playset.
I love it.
It looks like a Bandai playset that you could like you could buy the ship.
It looks like a Bandai playset that maybe that like they would make a toy on.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Wait a minute.
That's exactly what it was.
I don't like that. I mean, I like the fact that can easily be translated into a toy. As a set, I don't like it.
Here's the reason I do like it, is because it's so much different than any other space cockpit we've had. So if they do transition this into, well, they're obviously going to do it for America, but we've already had Terra Venture that looked like a spaceship, the Astro Mega ship, which looked like a spaceship. And if this looks like that, then it's like, okay, this is going to be different. You can already sense the differences, which the reason I kind of like the aesthetic of it.
I don't know. I like spaceships that look like spaceships. I don't know. I do.
Sure.
I
So,
like
but
the
like
whole metal thing with like bright freaking lights that have no reason for being there.
Yeah.
I do like that crap. So, but when I see that, I was like, okay, I get the feel. I know what you're saying. Like,
But
as far
all
as the
spaceships
aesthetic,
look the
it's
same.
like- yeah. No, and I get the aesthetic of this looks like something like you said when we were watching it. Oh, it's something that, dude, I'd actually like to hang out on that ship.
Like, that'd be
Instead of,
cool.
like,
Like,
because, listen, spaceships that
looks
look
like
like
a spaceship.
spaceships don't make sense to me. Because if you're going to spend so much time there, wouldn't you want it to look like home?
I mean, yes, I do.
Well,
However,
whose home looks like that though? Like,
It
with all the bright
legitimate-
colors and
But they're aliens. Who
this
knows?
spaceship looks like it was ripped out of Chuck E. Cheese. Like, you're just missing the ball pit in the slide. And that's what I mean. It's like, if it was just a little more spaceshipy, you know, yes.
Okay, here's a great example. I like conventions that don't look like conventions. I like WeirdCon. I like things that aren't the norm. I like going in there and being
That
like,
was-
damn,
my God,
these
that was
things are
probably
pretty
one of
cool.
the best cons I've
But
been
then when you walk a floor of any other convention, aka swap meet, it feels exactly the same.
That's true.
So
and then
that's what I'm
immediately,
trying to
yeah,
say.
like after
It
day
feels
one,
personable.
I'm
Listen,
like, I hope we covered everything. I don't
Do you
want
like Gallifrey?
I do.
But why do you like Gallifrey?
Because it doesn't look like a con. It doesn't.
Same thing
look
with
like a
Morphicon.
con.
I know Morphicon
That's
parts
true.
of it do, but like it's the actual, like, how many Comic-Cons how many conventions have we been to where it's like this is the same thing.
It's the
I
same
see
thing
every
over
week.
and over.
This is exactly
Anime
why I do
Expo
like
is
that.
like that. Sac Anime is like that.
Damn, I'm sorry, Anime Expo, but you're right.
No, it's true.
No, it's
like
true.
they all follow the same norm of
Well, I mean,
like.
you can only do that because you're on a con floor. I mean, you're at a convention center or whatever. and you're
Again,
on the
it's
floor,
completely
and then
understandable
other
why
people are
it's like
that.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's if you've been to one con, you've most likely
much
been
been
to
to
all
all
of
of
them.
And I feel that the cons that are the most successful are the ones that break that mold, though. Like
So
if
that's
you
why.
look at the ones, or at least the ones that are the most fun, are the ones that break that mold.
Yes.
Like when because you're Long Beach. No offense, Long Beach Comic Con, but you are the epitome of being every other con out there. Like
Which
it
I
is.
love that con too, but yes.
Well, I mean, it depends on which one you go to. Like, 'cause they have two
There you go, I was
expos.
gonna say,
They,
was
they
gonna
have
say,
their
right?
I do enjoy it, but it comes at a time where I'm already burnt out. And it comes at a time where, man, this is everything. This is exactly the same thing as every other con.
right.
It's the other cons that people aren't, like, the most fun, I think.
But Long Beach is a con that's like the other cons, but it has heart. I don't know why.
Well, like, WeirdCon was so much fun.
WeirdCon is probably my favorite con.
Gallifrey 1 is, and our producer JD knows this, the best con of the whole year. And no joke. Like,
Kazaa, it's amazing.
This is including like Comic-Con, any other convention you can think of. It is by far the most fun. And it's like a side quest because you're figuring out new things to do every single year. Like I just ran into somebody over at E3 this week, and she was like, hey, I didn't see you at Gallifrey. I was like, oh, I was there. It's like, you were? And I was like, yeah, but I didn't get there until after 10 o'clock every night.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't leave. I would get progressively, like, I would stay later and later. And I remember the Sunday, like the Sunday that we were there, I remember I think we had Long Beach the same week.
Yeah.
And JD, our producer, I was like, man, I'm not sure if anyone's going to be there, but let's just check it out anyway. We get there. We didn't end up leaving that convention until like 6:30 in the morning. And I was like, how the hell? We were getting free scotch all night, free booze, free food. Somebody ordered sushi for everybody. It was incredibly crazy.
Where people were just like, here, take alcohol. And
yeah, it was the craziest experience. But I love Gallifrey. But back to Kyuranger, we got on off a tangent about the ship. They're facing this general that has more than 10 eyes, apparently.
Yeah.
He Lucky was under the impression he could see the future. He can't see the future, though he does have many eyes.
He can just see everything around him.
It makes it seem like he can see the future.
Tactically. That's the only time that they actually think he can. But we found out, of course, no, it's just because he has eyes everywhere.
It was kind of deceiving, though. Every time they tried attacking him, one of his, like, transparent spots on his body would glow. And so I was like, oh, okay. Those are his eyes, but they're not. They're actually the little holes.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, I think this monster looked amazing.
Yeah.
Like it had that transparent blue skull.
Crystal skull, and then after
great.
that, like tentacles, kind of like Long John, whatever from freaking Pirates of the Caribbean.
It was also cool that this was a head villain, and it felt like that. Like this fight felt like
he wasn't just a normal villain.
Yeah, and he wasn't a pushover.
The stakes were definitely higher.
It wasn't a pushover.
And they straight up murdered him, right? I mean, he's dead.
More or less.
But Lucky also, the great thing about this is Lucky lost his confidence in this episode.
Yes.
Threw him off his game. And I think this is the first time, Darrell, you had mentioned that this is the best acting.
This is the best acting I've seen out of this guy since Kyuranger started. Because ever since Kyuranger started, I like the character of Lucky. However, this actor is like, he over-exaggerates everything. And you can see it on his face. And he's like, all right, be happy. And he does that, like, he does his face where he's like, yeah, I'm happy, but you're obviously not happy. And so
it's too obvious.
Here in this part, there were a little inconsistencies with his acting, but in certain parts, it was like, okay, I can definitely feel that you are down. Something is not right. It felt good to see him in that place.
It wasn't disingenuous. It was like, literally, I see it.
It was genuine, and I like that. I definitely like that. Like, I hope I see more of that throughout the season. Like, when he came back, at the end of the episode, and did the whole Gemini thing, I saw a little, like, mix of the two, where it's like, okay, I see good acting, and I see some, like, weird Sentai acting.
They were probably just trying to get that done so quick, though, the turnaround, that they were just like, nobody's really gonna know.
And that's what I mean, is like, I get it. I totally get it. Now, I just hope I see more of this throughout the season.
Now, when we talk about Lucky losing his confidence, we actually see Garu kind of stand up, boom, slugs him in the face.
He go ahead.
No, I think that the one thing I really liked about this episode is that you got to see that different side of Garu, because I felt, for the most part, ever since his debut, he's been in the background, and he hasn't really done too much. But I like the fact now that it's like, okay, you're the one that brought me here, and I was fighting kind of for you, and you helped me like break out of this thing. And now he's like, now you need to Ranger up, and get it together.
Ranger up, I like that.
So what do you think about that?
It's accurate, and it was really great because you could see the frustration where it becomes that whole brother in arms thing. So with that whole brother in arms thing, it was understood where he did punch him. It made sense. It wasn't like, what? It was like, yeah. It's at that moment where you're in the foxhole together, and it's like, all right, this is the moment where we need you to snap out of it, because we need as many guns out here as we can get. And right now, you're whining and crying over nothing. Get up.
The thing is that, like, Lucky was the one for all of them that's like, he was the unspoken leader.
Yeah.
Like no matter what, because he always went on the missions, and he was like he had that confidence.
I think the unspoken leader was always the commander.
Yeah, but even on the field,
I think it was the heart though.
But it was like, hey, you're in a bad place. I don't understand where this is coming from, but snap, And
Wake up, man. Get in there.
Yeah,
I also like the
you're
fact
head in
this
the
is
game.
the first time that he's not chosen to go fight.
Yes.
Yeah. But we've been playing at this for a while, for a few episodes. It's been where it's like Lucky's always worried when they do the Culet thing if he's gonna. Oh my God, is it gonna be?
By
me?
the way, the Culet is probably the best idea I've ever seen in my life. Like, I feel like that's the way that we should determine who goes to conventions is the Culet. I do.
Right,
I really do. I
these are
think
it.
because there's like 14 cast members that we have,
Right.
and we all want to go to like some of these. But I think the Culet would be a great way to determine that. I think it would be a lot of fun.
God.
And like imagine like you know what it'd be also a
have
cool
to
way.
televise it.
It'd be a cool way to determine who does the After Dark show.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That would be like
We
whoever
do it
is
at the end of
Culet.
every
And there's also the
After Dark
Kyutama-
show, and it would tell who's gonna do it next week.
Yeah.
That'd be
There's
dope.
also the Kyutama that we got revealed in this episode that allows all of them to go on the mission.
Which is
Oh
super
yeah, man.
cool. That we should make one of those too.
Yeah.
A special Kyutama in there. But I think one thing I also like too is we got Lucky's backstory. Like we
finally!
understood.
A look at it, not
I'll look at it. But
yeah,
I
definitely.
think that backstory. But think about this. And no offense to Power Rangers, but like they made me care so much about this character that everyone thought was obnoxious and annoying when you first meet him. That when you finally hear, we're only 12 episodes in, by the way.
Yeah.
And in those 12 episodes, you got me to care about almost every single one of these characters.
Right.
I think that's quite impressive, and I think they're doing a hell of a job over.
Oh yeah,
in
definitely.
Because they kept showing the scene over and over and playing with us with that too.
The
Where it was just
fire and the temple
Here
and
you
the
go.
clothes
He's sitting in this temple and this temple's on fire. It was just burning.
And
he was sitting there like, and I was like, I am crying too, Lucky. I don't know what's happening. Finally, they tell us, I still don't know why the temple was on fire.
Yeah.
But we know that he was rescued. They sent the rescue ship, took him away. He was raised on another planet, away from his own planet.
Exactly. And the thing is that he exclaims that he was unlucky. He was born unlucky and was named Lucky, which I brought up when we were watching the episode. Is his name actually Lucky? I wonder if like later on in the season that's gonna play into something later.
Like you think it's a nickname?
I feel like his real name might be in relation to something that has to do with the main villains or like I don't know. I think that'd be like really cool. It's like kind of like how Goku is Kakarot,
Okay.
it's like, oh, you're Kakarot. Who? I don't know who you're talking about. I'm Goku.
You mean like Superman's Kal-El?
Yeah, something like that. I wonder if like that Lucky name is, is actually his name, or if it's just like something that will like play into something else later.
We could be finding out shortly. We do see the battle though that 5 Rangers, the 5 that they send down, which I believe are our commander in purple. We got, I think Stinger was sent down with them. Chameleon.
Yes.
Balance and Naga.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were the ones that were sent down, and they got their asses handed to them.
Boy, man, there was no question about that.
And
That was a great fight.
Yes, I was just gonna say, like, I thought it was so brilliant that they made it seem like, okay, he can see the future, but it was all a con. He couldn't see the future. That was just his ability.
Yes.
But the fight sequence was pretty cool.
Like all of it. You even said at the beginning of this episode, it's like, oh, I don't think I've ever seen like Chameleon go like invisible.
Like invisible, yeah.
I mean, she has, but this is like one of the first times where it actually plays into the fight.
Well, even the morph sequence was pretty cool, where it was just like a camera pan and then like a block and then pan back and they were morphed. I thought that
Yeah.
was that was super
That
creative.
they panned
So we didn't
behind.
have to wait and take forever.
What was it? An Ikargen. They like panned over, Henshin, and they were done. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I don't think I've ever seen. I'm sure there's another Sentai that's done that, but it's been a long time since I've seen something.
The
like
creativity that they're taking on with this show is pretty impressive. I feel like they're always stepping up the game, making the fights look a little bit more cinematic, but still keeping to the tropes of Sentai. And I think that that's something that we as Americans don't necessarily get, especially when we get Power Rangers.
Exactly.
We don't get that cinematic feel to it.
You don't like the single camera, the single shot, single camera, like shakiness during the fight, like that whole thing. I love it.
I love that too, personally. Like that's
it's so chaotic.
Makes you feel like you're there, right?
Yeah, it's so chaotic and they keep it static. So yeah, it does feel like, oh, I'm right here. Oh my god, watch out.
There's a lot of that style, and I was saying that during the episode too. Is like I can see a lot of that in Power Rangers. When you watch like Power Rangers, you can see like the significant styles between Power Rangers and Sentai. It's like that's Sentai footage, that's Power Rangers footage.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of like, oh, that could definitely pass as Power Ranger footage when watching this episode.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, there's this one scene right as they're retreating where Hame like flips, and I was like, they did a lot of that in RPM, and that really stuck out to me. It's like, so I can see where the partnership between Bandai of America and Japan really like, you know, I can see where they're going to like kind of take pieces.
I was quite impressed with all of that. Then we understand when they figure out, they go back and they regroup after they get beat up. They figure out that they can't see the future. It's his eyes that give him the ability to see everything at once.
Right.
And then we also get to see Lucky's down on his luck, but they figure out that he has 10 eyes. So maybe with 11 people they can beat him. They do the Qlet. They get the new one. The new, what do they call it? The little Q globe? The
Kyutama?
Kyutama. This one.
We're 12 episodes in, Joe. Come on.
Then we get the Kyutama, and I'm on like half of these. I'm not on all. We get the Kyutama, and we figure out that all 11 could fight, but Lucky can't bring himself to do it.
Nope.
Garu is the one that snaps him out of it, per se.
Punches him.
They go back down with just the 10, and the same thing happens. They get beat up again. But this is a cool...
That was a great scene, though.
Yes, it was great, because this is the first time we get to see... Well, I don't know if it's the first time, but we get to see all 10 of them, with the exception of Lucky, they're fighting. And you can tell, this has also felt like the first time the commander felt like the actual commander.
Oh, yeah.
With like a pep talk, and with like a, listen, the reason, it's not that you're lucky, like, you know, this is, the Kyutama didn't choose you just because you were lucky. It was more to it than that. And I felt like he wasn't the goofy kind of like commander that we're used to seeing.
Right.
Like, he was taking a very serious side.
Well, yeah, he wasn't irresponsible. He was direct on what he needed to say and how he needed to make sure things got done. And it was like, we're seeing a different side of him. And it was a side that I was welcome to see.
I agree.
It was just like, just watching all of that happen, making sure that every little thing happens. Okay, attack him here, we got this. And then it just ultimately fails. And watching that flip off of the crates and everything, the destruction happen.
I also like the fact that the commander strategized. Like, he was the strategist of this episode.
Granted, it failed, but yes, he definitely, like, strategized.
Yeah, he put a whole plan into effect, and they actually did follow through, but unfortunately, they couldn't foresee that they weren't going to win.
But once this monster gets the best of them for the second time around...
I gotta say, that was still dope, like you said, with them flipping off the crates.
Yeah.
Where he was just like,
Garu took the heat of that.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone on their crates kind of just like, they flipped and like, but Garu went from like here to here.
Yeah, dude.
You know what? Garu was almost a minor highlight for me in this episode. I felt like we got a lot out of him.
For something that wasn't centered around him, this was definitely a good highlight episode for him.
I love this. And I like the interaction that we're seeing amongst the team. Because, I mean, there's certain characters that you want to see interact. Obviously, Naga and Balance are always together. Yeah. But I like some of those times where you get to see, like, I don't know, Balance and, like, Raptor together. Oh. Or, like, you know, just an odd mixing of
like in the last episode where they...
It's kind of like here. I mean, there's cast members on this show you haven't even met yet.
Oh, yeah. I still haven't met who I don't know.
Maverick?
Jeez.
Brianna?
No.
You've met her?
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
There's a... I can't remember.
Myra?
Oh, there you go.
Maverick, Myra, and I think...
Sarah?
Yes. Yes, I have. Okay. In passing, but I have. There's... I don't know. There's
You've met everybody.
Whole, like, slew of
I've met everybody, obviously. But it's interesting. So, I mean, I feel like we're very much like those Rangers. But... out of the smoke and out of the destruction comes the badass Lucky. And he walked in like a champ, right? He walked in like a freaking champion. And it was just insane to me how cool it was.
What'd you throw that marker at?
Oh, just in the air. Air practice.
Whatever.
Target practice.
Yeah. Anyway, so out of the smoke, Lucky comes in, and I'm a huge fan of those jackets, and I can't help but think, oh, that poor jacket. That's such a nice thing, and all those rips in it, and I was like, but then he pulls out this ace out of the hole, goes Gemini, and he starts multiplying himself like crazy.
Now you had a great question about this.
Yes.
Is that he could keep doing it?
He
obviously.
There is no noticeable limitation to that power. Like most other characters in linear form media would be like, oh, I can only go this many times, or if I exert it, then I'm going to get tired, or I'm going to kill myself.
Right after
or like, no, he's like, whatever. And after it's all done, they all shoot off an attack.
I love that.
And he's still standing. He's not tired. No noticeable difference.
But the only noticeable difference is he did go back into one being.
Yeah. Well, so it can only be held for a little time. But still, the fact that he was able to do that and with no repercussions.
Do you think we'll see that power again?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well,
I don't
maybe
think so.
To that level.
So I have something for that.
Tommy's
Are you guys familiar with Kamen Rider O's? No? Okay, so Kamen Rider O's
I only watched Gaim.
O's had this form, Gata Kiriba, where it was an insect.
Bless you.
Yeah, right? Where it was an insect-based form, and he could multiply, and he could create an entire army. It was ridiculous. The only thing for that was that during that season, it was only seen 3 times because it was such a big budget thing for them. And so I want to say, yes, we'll see the Gemini thing again, but I don't think to that extent.
Okay, all right. So it's Tommy's Fireball.
Yeah.
It's
Tommy's Fireball. Yeah, definitely.
But so we get to the point where it seemingly looks like our Kyurangers are getting the upper hand. They take him into space, and they like all surround him and shoot him. And I loved this sequence because this is the first time we've seen this, and I think this might be the first time we've seen all 11 fighting together. I could be wrong.
I think so.
It is.
Yeah, because every other time they only had like
9 or 10 or.
And he makes a point. The villain makes a point where he's like, "Oh, is this fair? 11 versus 1?" And then
Lucky dodges the question by giving him some bull crap.
No, but I love that retort. It was so like
you're not fighting 11. You're fighting everyone who hates you or something like that.
So you're fighting the galaxy, and then space.
One thing I do love though is that this was, since he was like a general and not just like a weekly villain, that it took all 11 of them. Like I like the fact that this, like you said, Darrell, that it means that there were stakes and it had to take 11 to beat him.
Yeah,
thought that was so cool. And that sequence where they're all just shooting him in the middle, that to me, episode over. That should have been it.
But here comes Joe's favorite part.
There were so many times where it should have been episode over. When Lucky did it, episode should have been over. Like he should have been dead.
Well, I understand why he wasn't dead. I get that. But that to me that was a fitting way that all 11 of them.
I agree too.
Because I think that you're giving the audience too much at that point. Mainly, like you just got a cool ending. Save that big Zorda combination thing for the next big boss.
They probably have something even more.
But the problem is,
but that's, I mean, you can. This is. I call this Sam storytelling, is where you throw the audience everything all at once.
The problem.
Sam will get that.
The problem with that is that we still didn't have the buy the toys moment. So. That's where Joe's favorite part happened.
Had to happen.
We summoned the Zord.
Well, I was acceptable with this mainly because it was raining.
Yes.
Dude, that was so dope.
Yes, I agree definitely that fight could have ended right there. However, that whole, that small raining sequence of them being like, oh, it's raining in their cockpits, that was such a nice aesthetic, and I love that.
I did too.
I loved it. I loved the way it looked and everything. I mean, sure, we've seen the miniatures and everything like that, but just with the rain coming down and everything, it was nice.
Cool. But I also think that's the charm of Tokusatsu and the charm of Sentai is the miniatures, using the miniatures. And I like, because I remember back during, I think it was around Wild Force, or I guess it was Gal Ranger for them, and a few others, where a lot of the Zords looked somewhat digital. And I like that now they're going more back to practical.
I actually kind of like the Wild Force things, but that's me. I like the practical stuff.
They
in
look like
seasons.
the movie Zords from the first movie. Like it looked very.
It really depends on the. No, I wouldn't go that far. Now that I'm thinking about it, no, I would not even go.
Terrible.
They weren't that bad.
The CG, I think we've made better CG on this show.
It depends on the Zords, I guess. If they're like sentient like creatures, I would prefer Wild Force like thing. If they're just static, like, oh, it's in the shape of a lion and it's also a motorcycle or something like that, practical
That's also
thing.
that same season, by the way. Wasn't that at least on Wild Force where they do the whole thing?
Oh no, that was a Falcon. But I don't know. Whatever. Power Rangers.
I personally like that they're going back practical because I think that it's a lost art form. It's a lot of camera trickery.
It is.
It's a lot of old school filmmaking that they're still using, and it still looks good. I don't think it looks bad.
I appreciate when they do make it look like believable.
Well, I like
That's my favorite.
that they're not skipping out on small things, like you said, when the rain's hitting the cockpit. They're not just making it seem like, oh, it's raining, and we're not gonna, forget it. We're not gonna have
We're not going to just acknowledge it.
They're not phoning it in, and I think that if I certainly hope that America takes notes, because if you can't execute this season, it's gonna be really sad.
Yeah.
But you have to try. You have to give it your all.
Yeah.
Because the Japanese are killing.
Yeah, your budget's got to be something at least a bit more.
So we do get this mech fight scene with their Zords or whatever. What are they called in Japan? They're Zords. What are they called?
I don't know. I'm calling them Zords, but let's.
We'll call them Zords. But when they do the merge was a little cheap to me.
Okay, yeah.
It just looked like the one of the Zords is giving a piggyback.
So
right to
purple and like on their middle started glowing. And they're like, oh, is this what I think it is? Oh, I guess it is.
They're mating.
Oh yeah.
Imagine
And
if a
then-
little baby Zord would have come out.
Oh my
like
God.
a little baby globe.
That's just
The
nasty.
bear?
That's just nasty.
It was just so weird. I think they phoned it in a little bit there. There should have been a better kind of combination. I feel
Because the
going
scene
on.
where they actually we're gonna charge up and kill. When they did that, it was literally just one Zord standing in front, another one on a skateboard behind him, and just rolling forward at the same time. We're here.
The problem is
And I was
that
like, what is this?
a lot of recent Sentai are like big culprits of that, are because in Samurai they put them on a freaking like float and they like float them through. Even Go-Onger, like RPM, they gave them like roller skates to have them move forward. Like a lot of these recent ones, and I don't know where it comes from, and it's kind of cool at the same time. It's like, let's put all of our Zords and make one big Zord, and it'll be even stronger than anything.
If they made one big Zord, it would have been cool. And it looked like when they first did like the little merge, it looked like it was a big Zord.
I
And
wish there
then
was a better
that
combination.
That moment when they did the fighting, it was like, wait. That Zord's not connected to that one.
Yeah,
that was weird.
It moved and punched on its own. This one just stood here like.
It was definitely weird.
And then that was it. And I'm
But
like, what just happened?
You know, one thing I did like is we all get to see like the cockpits, the way the aesthetic is with all 11, and they win the day. They beat the general, and then we get our next
Voyagers.
Scene.
That's
Voyagers.
what they're called.
Our next scene is Stinger's brother.
It's a button scene.
The button scene, looking over the city, and I can't wait to see what's in store because now and there's also that weird history between Stinger and Champ that still hasn't been resolved yet.
Oh, that's right.
So
I completely forgot about that.
We still don't know what happened there, and the Stinger's brother story is quite the big story. I kind of hope that in some capacity he beats Stinger and gets his Kyutama and becomes orange for a little bit.
Even for a little bit, yeah, exactly.
I hope that somehow he, for a little bit, kind of wins over Stinger to be on his side.
Because Stinger is a questionable.
For the Brotherhood thing, and then it will reveal the history between him and Champ, and then after that he'll decide to come back.
This can be. I mean,
that's what I think.
And that's a great thing. Is there's so many different directions this can go, and either way, I won't be disappointed because they're doing such a great.
My ultimate hope
job
just for like the brother is that it doesn't turn into a really cliche storyline. Because like, oh, I'm good, but my brother's evil has been such a trope in like all forms of media that this can easily turn into something like, again, really, and I don't want it to turn into. I want us to be like, okay, that was kind of cliche. But I like this. I want to like it. So I'm really hoping.
I'm hoping we get that as well. I mean, I think that there's so much more we can explore in this season of Kyurangers, and we're barely scratching the surface, guys. We're 12 episodes in. We have like 40 to go, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And then we still have
The movie
exclusive
the
stuff.
team up.
The team ups, the crossovers, the eventual movies that I'm almost positive we're going to be getting.
Yeah.
And there's always extra Rangers in those.
We already have like what 1, 2.
There's 11 current, but we know that there's at least
There's
two or three more coming.
2. I think 2 confirmed. 1 is a power up. but I think we have 2 more confirmed Rangers. That Phoenix Quantum thing that's happening.
I also saw a white Pegasus one.
I think that's a power-up. The star on that scan was red, which leads me to believe that's going to be a lucky power-up. So,
and then we have the alternate, or the different, the Quantum Red Ranger-ish
looking guy who looks like he's going to be an enemy, or... let me ask you guys, if he turns out to be a separate Red Ranger, do you want him to be part of the team?
No.
Or do you want him to be an enemy and then become part of the team?
I don't know. I want him to be an enemy, and I want him to have his own team, and I want them to have to choose. I don't want him to necessarily be a bad guy, but I want him to definitely, he does things
an anti-hero?
Kind of like an anti-hero team where some of them are going to have to choose, like, he's doing this right. He's doing that. And eventually they may have to team up and do things, but they're essentially 2 different teams functioning.
Right.
I think that could be really interesting.
That could be, actually. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I think that'd be really cool. The way I envision him to go is just like, because every time we have an evil Ranger, most times he ends up joining the team after. I kind of want said Ranger, if he does end up being evil, to just die.
I think that we've never gotten, besides in Power Rangers, the only Rangers that have ever been like that are the Psycho Rangers.
Yeah. But the Psycho Rangers were like a completely different beast. I wouldn't even like...
They were Psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever gotten a... I mean, the only Ranger I can even think of that would come close... Yeah, we don't think we've ever had that. Is what?
A-Squad.
Oh, A-Squad. But again, that's another... That's a different kind of thing. But,
But A-Squad, I would still consider them Rangers in some capacity. Psycho Rangers, I wouldn't even like... consider them to be a
they
Ranger.
were automatically evil. They were always been evil. But the A-Squad, they started out... Yeah, A-Squad is literally that whole thing. Started out good, got corrupted, and then disappeared and showed up at the end.
Exactly.
But,
great story.
Darrell,
Great
how many Kyutamas are you going to give this episode?
This episode, 4.5.
4.5 Kyutamas. That's like half the Gemini one, right?
Yeah, I'm like, I want to give it like a perfect score because it was such a good episode. But there are little things just the base. First of all, is just like him having these serious moments in this like Chuck E. Cheese base just brought me out of it.
I love that stuff.
I'm thinking that should bring you down where it kind of hurts even more because you're like, damn, man, that's how bad it has to hurt. That's how bad it has to hurt.
Yeah,
like that's how bad it has to hurt. Like I don't mind,
but I
crying
don't.
inside of this shitty place.
I don't want to give it a perfect score because I don't want to set my bar too high. It's like this is what I want Kyuranger to be. I feel like I can be better, and so 4.5.
Daniel.
Well, can I give it that all 11? Because that's how good it was.
The success,
whatever
like
the
it was
success
called.
one, yeah, because that's how good it was for me. I love it.
I'm gonna have to agree with Daniel. I'm gonna give it the whole Kyutama 11.
Dude,
it was good.
Lately, every episode has been great.
I don't
It's been getting
think I've
better
seen
and
like
better.
I don't think there's ever been one of these where I was like, oh, that was a bad episode.
Yeah.
I don't think we've gotten there
Every
yet.
episode gets better and better,
Right.
man. I am loving the show.
And that's why it's like, yes, that's why 4.5. I don't want to like set my bar too high.
Okay, because then if something happens...
If
you're
something
like,
happens,
oh.
it's gonna crush me because it's like, oh, the rest of the season was so good.
I'm blowing my load early.
But I think that's gonna do it for us here on the Henshin Hangout.
Yes.
You can catch us tomorrow, at least Darrell and I tomorrow, on the Ranger Wrap-Up. Daniel will be on with Brianna and Doctor Who.
That's right.
Daniel, where can everyone find you on social media?
You can find me as TheRealJ_Rome on everywhere except for Facebook, where they don't allow underscores.
Darrell?
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Darrell J. Delphin. We also have a new Instagram, Twitter, Facebook for the Anime Super Chat Show, which is going to be... it's going to be THS Anime. You can find it on all social media. And then if you want to watch me directly on Thursday's Anime Super Chat.
And you can find me right here every week on the Henshin Hangout. So you can find me tomorrow on the Ranger Wrap-Up. Mondays on Morphin Monday and the news feed. Most news feeds, I should say. And you can find all my social media at that hashtag Joe. And you should also visit our website, thathashtagshow.com.
Yes.
We're breaking news all the time. And we also have shirts now. We
I was
also have
about
a
to remind you.
merchandise store. TeePublic is now one of our new sponsors. Check out some of the shirts we have there. You can get your own hashtag t-shirt, which I tell this story all the time. Daniel sold off his back because we made so little of them to begin with.
Yeah.
But you can get yours now at TeePublic. That's teepublic.com. All you got to do is search that hashtag show. Our store will come up. There's tons of Ranger shirts there, Doctor Who shirts there. Anime shirts there. For the girls, you got the Disney shirts. I shouldn't say just say girls, but the girls that do our show, the Disney shirts there. We have Marvel, DC, The Flash. All of it's there. Go check it out. Again, that's TeePublic, and you can type in that hashtag show to find our store. But that's going to do it for us. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with everything trending
in geek pop culture. What happened?